So this is what it looks like hung up. Now, my opinion about this thing is that it's huge, it's got a lot of potential. It's supposed to come with an S-hook, which would make life a lot easier, which it doesn't. This one didn't. See, I put this one on a hook that was coming out of this piece of wood here in the roof of this gazebo type thing. And it holds up quite nicely to anything I've put in so far. Right now I have some rice dehydrating. The zipper is a little bit flimsy, but it'll do if you're careful with it. The way it closes, it's a bit flimsy, I would say, but it does the trick. It closes properly. In here is shredded coconut. And here is turmeric back there dehydrating. And this is just coffee grounds and eggshells. It will be part of a DIY dry fertilizer for my plants, and I will show that in another video if anybody's interested in what I use. So 4 levels, it's really huge. You can dry pretty much anything in here. What I do is I take everything back inside at night and continue on. If it's not fully dry by the end of that day, I will bring everything in and then bring it back out the next day, assuming that it's a sunny day. And the reason I do that is because fruit flies do get into this mesh. As you can see, this mesh it's small, but it's not small enough to keep out the fruit flies. And the fruit flies stay away from the mesh as long as it's full sun. But once the shade comes and something that might be sweet, like say my shredded coconut up there, or dried fruit, and they will gravitate towards it when the sun goes down. I do not bring this big, huge monstrosity inside the house. I actually just leave it hanging and I just take everything out. And if it's, most of the time it's actually dry within a day, but something like the rice that I'm trying to dehydrate here, that might take a little longer. Another place you could hang this is maybe in an open area on a laundry line. Anywhere that you think would be solid enough to hold this and would be a bright enough place that would have enough sun for at least 2 to at least 3 hours of the day. Overall, this thing will probably last a while, but the construction of it is cheap. I've torn that part of it just by trying to figure out how to open and close this thing. Y'all, it took me like half an hour to figure out how to deconstruct this thing back into that bag. But once I figured it out, it's not so terrible, but it's still, I don't understand why they made it so difficult. I think they could have just made it so that you could fold it into half of its size, like fold it flat and in half. But what you do is you fold it flat in half and then fold it over one more time again. So in all that bending, this is not the strongest material, right? It's not going to last forever because it's just too hard on this to be folding it up in the way that you have to put it back in its bag. But other than that, you know, you could just leave it open but flat because it's more like an accordion style. So when nothing's in here, it folds, it just literally falls flat, and then you could just store it that way if you don't mind having that shape in your closet or something like that. But to close it into its original container, it's a bit of a chore, but it's doable. I would give this, I would say, a 3.5, only because of it being not the most durable material. But again, I think it's still good because you can get a lot of stuff dried in this small space. It keeps out flies, keeps out other types of bugs. It saves energy, and I find it a little bit more convenient than just putting things out on a open sunny area on a cookie sheet without a mesh screen. Of course, there's plenty of different ways to go about it, but I find this contraption for $15 American, somewhere in that range. I find that to be worth it, even despite the headaches that it gave me when I first got started with it. Hope you're having a good day, and thank you for watching.